Today I'm going to be making what my family calls Hambage. Now this is cabbage that I cut up. I try to get the stalks out of them. And I put hamburger meat in there. And I put a little spices, salt and pepper. Probably some onion, salt or onion little chips in there. You can put real onion in it, but I never do. I always like the salter. And you can put a little garlic powder in there. That's what I was trying to think of. Onion powder in there. And all I'm doing is cutting this up like this in there. And if you have a big enough frying pan, you can put it in there, and they call it fried cabbage. I can't really tell the difference. My husband can, but anyway, what he don't know won't hurt him. And I'm just going to cut this up, and I'm going to put my pre-cooked hamburger meat in here. Now, probably to make it taste better but more fat, you could just put chunks of hamburger meat in there raw and cook it all together. And I've done that before. But all my life I've been on a low-fat diet. I just never like grease and stuff. I always get it out. If I have to wash it out, I usually pour the grease off, let it set up, and throw it in the garbage can. The liquid part I keep, and I'll make a mixture for my dogs. And I will post that one of these days on here, because I also do it with chicken broth. But what I'm going to do is I'm putting this all in here like this. And this is my big cast iron Pioneer Woman pot. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I pour some water in here. And I don't want to pour too much because it will be more broth than anything. But here is my minced onions, is what I had instead of the powdered onions. And I always measure in my hand. And if you like more onions, put more onions in it. Just like with, this is garlic powder. And it's according to how you like garlic. I don't put a lot of garlic in this. Now I got this out. I put this up a few days ago, maybe 5 or 6 days ago. And I put it in my sink in hot water, and I let it thaw out. And you put as much as you want to in it. I don't put a whole lot, but I don't put a little. So I put about a medium in here. Because if you put too much, you're going to lose the flavor of the cabbage, and that's the main taste in this. And then you can take your hand or you can use a spoon, whatever you want to, like tossing a salad. And I keep an eye on this a little bit because you know it will wilt down. I first turn it up on high on my stove, and when it gets to cooking, I will turn it down to a simmer. On my stove it's about a 3, because when you put the lid on top of it, it's going to keep that heat in and make it a little bit hotter. So when I get this thing cooking, I'll bring you back. Okay, I don't know if you can hear that, but it's beginning to simmer in the bottom. And it's beginning to boil. Now I did put about less than 1/4 of a cup of vegetable oil in here, because when you don't have the fat from the hamburger meat, you're going to need something to keep this from scorching. So now I'm going to turn it down. I'm going to turn it to about 4.5, and then I'll check on it, but I'm going to cover it. Now this is about 30 minutes of cooking. I'm going to let cook some more. Now, a lot of people would leave the lid off so the water can cook down. Some would put the top back on it. I'm going to let this cook down some. I'm going to turn it up to about 5. And I'm going to check on it in about 10-15 minutes. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes. It's almost ready. But I did want to tell you, if you don't want to put any kind of meat in it, you can put chicken in this. But we used to put the bouillon cubes in it. But I have been using this one. It's a liquid type. I haven't gotten the beef one, but the beef I bet you would be really good in there. And I bet you if you did this with chicken and put this in it, oh my goodness. So I'm going to cook this a little while longer and it'll be ready to serve. Okay, this has been cooking for about 15 minutes or less. And you can see how the cabbage is cooking down. If I get too close, it's going to be blurry because it is steam coming off. But this is cooking up just fine. Now, again, I like my cabbage about like this. I like it kind of crunchy, but my family doesn't, of course not. So I'm going to cook it some more. But if you're doing it raw, you really want to make sure your meat, if you're cooking your meat raw, you want to make sure that it's getting cooked well. Doesn't that look scrumptious? It is. Believe you me, I could eat this every day. I also make a soup with this. There is a restaurant that's local that makes cabbage soup, and they put rice in here, and it is good. But this is too hot for me to taste right now. But that's what it looks like. And you see how that oil sticks to it? It keeps it from scorching in your pan too. But it just makes it extra special too. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Hit the like button, comment, share, and if you're not already a subscriber, please join our group. We'd love to have you. And everyone, have a nice day.